So I gotta be honest, when I started this whole grand rebrand journey, my goal was thinking about like 30 days, right? And I was trying to hold myself to that for 30 days. But then as I started to do this grand rebrand and I started to see my analytics, pretty much change in like real time, I started to see the, different types of engagement points, what works, what doesn't work. I don't think 30 days is long enough. I'm going to be writing this out for the entire rest of the year, because I think I found something more so than like the motivation to create long form content again on this particular channel. But what I've started to notice, especially, is they say practice what you preach, especially when I'm talking to a lot of other content creators and helping them out with their own channels. What I started to realize is the true power in selecting the right topics. And I really started to look at the data for the YouTube shorts that I started to change up. And, this whole thing I've been talking about, this good artist copy great artist still, verbiage that I've been utilizing. Well, I started to really notice that when it came to the YouTube shorts, and I started to incorporate other YouTubers, strategies, whether it's retention hacking, whether it's better thumbnails, or it's just, it comes down to the topics. And in the anime field itself, especially because we're a channel that's trying to get into the algorithm, we're trying to get to our viewers or views coming from non-subscribers. I really started to figure out, okay, what is the best way to go about this, right? And so yesterday's video I released pretty late at night, and this video did break over 1.5k. Now normally this type of viewership I would get on, say, a reaction video for, I guess you could say, for 2025, where my channel is currently at, when it comes to long form content. Long are the days where I'm getting an averaging 50,000 to 25 to 50,000, almost 100,000 views, depending on the type of series. We're no longer in that time frame. We are no longer have that type of viewership because we no longer have that type of audience. So it's now to build consistency with the snowball effect that YouTube can give us. Right. So with this particular channel, I wanted to pivot towards commentary style content. And I realized that in order for me to really truly ingratiate myself with the commentary style content, I'm going to have to be on top of these releases. It has to be the same day, has to be within the same hours. Got to start taking advantage of, the release window of these particular anime, and be there and be present when these things drop. Not trying to be there 24 hours afterwards. Hell, not even trying to be there 10 hours afterwards. We're talking about within the first 2 to 3 hours when the anime drops. I want to position my content to be there. So I'm gonna have to change up my entire sleep schedule as well. That's that just comes with the territory. But even then, it's always going to be about what type of value am I providing to this content. Sure, we lost 1 subscriber, but as you guys can see, the viewership is up, right? We got 1.1 more. The other major thing is because this video was much longer and I changed the thumbnail to not include myself, also utilize what we have done on In-Card Empire back with the older style of the thumbnails, where we have the arrow and stuff like that. The reach was also much higher in terms of the impression click-through rate, which was 6.3, which tells me that people, yes, do care about this particular topic that I'm talking about. But they also I had to change the title structure that I did it as well. Normally for a reaction video, when I do it, it will be the name of the anime, the episode, reaction, and that's about it, right? If we were to go to the other YouTubers out there in the field who are also covering this topic, right, about 2B Hero X, for instance, because that is the topic of today's video and why I want to take more time with this. So if I go to 2B Hero X, right, and obviously Crunchyroll is going to dominate. Now here you have Struck by Bells, anime reaction YouTuber. They've been in the game for a while. The volume is at a 96. The competition is still at medium, right? So that means everyone's right now is trying to break into this field for 2B Hero X and do 2B Hero X content. I feel like I might have to start doing 2 to 3 videos a week maybe on this particular, you know, series, especially when it does drop, because there's all the theories that can be done to like position myself with the content for this particular like anime, right? Because obviously the natural inclination is to do reaction content. Sure, I could double down by just releasing the reaction video itself, because we know that reaction videos for the most part is all dominated by YouTube search. Okay, if people didn't know that, now you know. Reaction videos is usually dominated by YouTube search. I'm pretty sure if we go to the analytics of this, it may not be a full-on reaction video, but yes, you can see that the traffic source here, we have almost nearly 50% of the views coming from YouTube search, which means people are actively searching for this particular topic. So that's just reaction videos in general, and that's why a lot of reaction videos receive the bulk of their views in the first 24 to 48 hours after the certain material is released, especially if you're thinking about it in the music reaction space. When I was a K-pop reaction YouTuber from 2013 to actively from 2013 to like 2017, and that's where I saw like the biggest growth of my channel, and I was one of the very first, you know, like I guess you say big channels at that time, what was considered a big channel in the K-pop reaction space. But we, you know, and back then the YouTube data that we have was not as advanced as it is today, and so YouTube search, we do know, is like the breadcrumbs, like the bread and butter for reaction style videos. My video here is a commentary style video, and I wanted to position my particular video differently from the other reaction videos, right? So the title immediately has To Be Hero X episode 2, and I have in capital, reveals the truth about Moon's demise, right? Now, a lot of people would probably see this title, and if you don't know anything about this episode or these characters, you might be like, bro, that's a spoiler, right? But for the majority of these people, what I've come to realize is that, you know, the audience doesn't really care as much, or the people who care about these spoilers themselves are people that, you know, just come to YouTube and like, instead of watching the episode before, they come to YouTube and then they get spoiled that way. And that's very minuscule compared to the amount of people who are already have seen the series and just want to know more about it, or people who just don't really like, they just want to see somebody else's interpretation about what happens and whatnot, right? At the end of the day, we're all talking about episode 2, whether it's a reaction video, a commentary video, a recap, or review. And my style right now is a flowing commentary for the most part that functions as a recap with just my input in it. And, you know, for that type of video, I also started to put like better descriptions, even though this is nearly a copy and paste for what I did for the previous description. The main thing is the amount of keywords that I started to front load in the description as well. Like the main keyword is To Be Hero X, right? And of course, episode 2, but I say To Be Hero X one time in the title, one time in the description here, another time that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7. So I have it 7 times in the actual like the like title and description. Then down here in the hashtags was I started to implement, because I started to notice that some other larger channels, especially like the ones that we are taking inspiration from, like Sambuca, has like these hashtags in the description, and even if it helps it 1%, we're going to do it, right? And then I continue to front load that with more tags. Now, tags might not be the most important thing in the world right now, but as you guys can see, these tag rankings, which comes from vidIQ, lets me know where exactly my video can sit in the algorithm, right? And as long as my video is giving enough positive satisfaction, then I'm going to continue to ride the wave on it, right? Obviously, the watch time is up for this 64 hours. You know, we're not making as much money off this video because it's only like 1.5k views, but I'm planning and game planning for the future. You know, a lot of people want the instant gratification of, say, they want to have $1,000 like today. But if you mean to tell me, hey, if I could make a, you know, $1,000 consistently, say in the next 3 months, and all it's gonna take is 90 days to do it, like, wouldn't you want to put the work in? You know, like obviously a lot of people want to have the money like right now, but if you mean to tell me that I'm 90 days away from possibly like, you know, breaking 4k regularly, then yeah, I'm all in for that. And that's why I'm not going to limit myself no longer to just a 30 days. I think what I needed more so was the positive affirmation from myself that this is the right steps to take. And of course, with other feedback and checking out other content creators, it's allowed me to keep refining, right? Keep refining until I get it right. You know, one of my things is keep rebranding until you get it right. And that will start to reflect in the content that I'm doing, you know, feeling more confident, not using as much likes and ums, which I am a historical person that utilizes a lot of those filler words. But the more that I talk, the more that I get comfortable with doing this type of content, the better it will translate for the viewer overall experience, because then I can start to tinker with the actual editing style. You know, some of the times, like especially with these videos here, I'm free flowing. I'm just talking, I'm just yapping from the heart, right? And from the mind. But at the same time, I also know that there's a pacing that does matter. And so I'm trying to figure out the exact pacing that people will enjoy my content with. Now, I've talked historically about how this channel was dominated by long form content, and I could not get views or videos that have a average viewer duration that was like over 30 seconds. But here I have a video that's 2 minutes and 36 seconds. I think that's a win. Sure, it's not 50%. It's only 17% of the video. However, when you have a long form, when you have a short form audience that you're trying to convert to long form, you know, I'm going to need to continue to do a lot of these videos and just start to really figure out what editing styles I can utilize that people would like this, right? Because there's other channels in the space that do this type of like talking head type of video and have a lot of success with it. So I want to make one of my, I want to position myself to be like them. Essentially, that's what it comes down to, right? The other major thing is that the bulk of the views for this came from non-subscribers, which I'm very happy to see. In the next few days, I'm going to be looking at, all right, who are the returning viewers? These people come back because they saw me react to episode 1, did a YouTube short around episode 1 as well. So that's another thing that I definitely want to utilize and look at in terms of the data, because look at this video itself compared to the other ones that I've done in the past. Like, yes, this has a lot more likes. The title is very different from the other ones. So I'm starting to really play around with the titles. I'm starting to play around with the thumbnails a bit more. And eventually I'm going to start testing out some of these like I like to call them over the top thumbnails, the ones that are like I've pretty much commissioned that have been done by people on Fiverr. And I want to give you guys an example for those of you who may be seeing this particular video for the first time. But you know, when it comes to like Fiverr, I've never been like afraid to like spend money on time, right? So for instance, I have a video that I will be releasing soon about Lord of the Mysteries, and this was one of the thumbnails that was designed that I had bought essentially, right? And you know, I want to start utilizing these types of thumbnails, especially if I could do them myself. If I could do it myself, then yeah, sure, I'll be all for it, especially because I know my way around Photoshop, but it's time consuming at the end of the day. So hey, if it's gonna cost $10, here you go, here's $10. If it's gonna cost, you know, $20, here's $20. Will the video make $10 or $20 down the line? That's what my hope is, right? Now that I've seen, you know, the progress of this once again, you know, I just know that how I'm going to position my content. The only thing that I truly want to hold myself accountable for is releasing a video a day, right? I don't want to have any days missed. That's like the hardest thing, especially when we're coming towards, well, for me, I think it was the hardest thing because I do a lot of my content during like the evening, but I gotta I'm switching it up so I could do a lot of my content during the early morning, especially because these animes do release during the early mornings itself. And a lot of the other content creators in the space are like doing live streams. Like we're talking about, you know, 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m. and then they're like done with the rest of the day. That's what I want to fix my schedule towards, because a lot of these animes do drop like, you know, 9 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. in the morning. So I should be up doing the same exact thing. A lot of my K-dramas release the same exact time. So I need to start matching, you know, my content output around the hours where people are like usually checking out this stuff. People are tweeting, people are like sharing their thoughts about this in the early mornings. So yeah, it's time to be there when people start talking about these animes, right? I mean, the time zones and the release and all that stuff have always historically been there, like especially when we're talking about doing research. Like this here shows the time zones of when these animes are releasing, and I should be following these time zones and getting there. Between this and Crunchyroll and the anime space, you know, this is how I start to get much better about getting, you know, my thoughts out there much faster, especially, right? So that's one thing that I want to hold myself accountable towards, having a video a day, but I really want to push it towards 2 videos at the bare minimum. You know, by even with my trip coming up to Japan next month, I want to make sure that I have enough videos for that week break that I do take when I'm in that country. But I also want to make sure that I have at least 2 videos long form wise out a day, and then start to really maximize the amount of shorts that I put out. I have 2 videos that are acting as outliers, right? These videos here about, you know, that are way more entertainment based. You know, these videos were my testing grounds, my proving grounds to see if people would enjoy this. I've now have the majority of my videos that are going to be coming out are all going to be around the 1 minute mark. I mentioned it before, I want to break the 1 minute mark in terms of like average, you know, duration for videos. And I want to see, I want to have a viral video where it's a minute long video. That's the only thing in terms of YouTube shorts that I personally haven't cracked. I haven't hit. Like, I had a video that went viral that was like, you know, 15 seconds. Had a video that went viral that's 25 seconds. Had a video that's went viral that was, you know, 40 seconds. Now my goal is to get a video that goes viral that's a minute, because I'm also thinking about the average revenue for those type of videos, and, you know, what it would be for, you know, earning over like, you know, $1 million, well, earning what the average RPM would be for those type of videos. So those are some of the goals that I have for this particular channel. Like, you know, I'm starting to get consistent stay to watch ratios. The audience for here is starting to be divided between 50% subscribe and not subscribe. Starting to get a lot more people that are not subscribed checking out the shorts, especially when we have other shorts that were performing particularly well, like this one, where the audience is 95% not from me. They're not subscribed, which I like to see, because those are the new viewers that I keep talking about, right? And I mean, we're getting a lot of return viewers, but I'm also getting a lot of new viewers, which I like to see, I like to enjoy. This video here has 86%, so I'm just waiting. It's like waiting for like the next bump to go towards, you know, the next level. So as long as we stay consistent with the amount of shorts that we upload, making sure that if we happen to miss a day, that we are absolutely uploading the next day. It's fine if you're not uploading shorts every single day. And I want to make sure that I'm uploading content every single day. You know, it's a very hard track, but at the end of the day, this is just for this style of content with anime, you know, you have to consistently give people value. So that's what we're going to be working on for, you know, the foreseeable future. So this whole 30-day plan, at the end of the day, it's going to be the rest of the year. Like, you know, we have grander goals. The goals for this month is still to hit $100. We are $70 away. And the month is half over, and that's because your boy's been slacking. You know, like I gotta hold myself accountable as well. We've been slacking. I gotta start uploading more. You know, I gotta start hitting my own goals. So that's all I gotta say. For those of you that want to join the Discord, I have opened up the Discord. It's in the description bar down below. A couple of you guys have already joined in and started talking, whether it's about anime but more about content creation. So I'm gonna have more things about that coming soon. I'm actually working on a YouTube like blueprint thing, you know, just for what I do with workflow, and I'm starting to basically make things a little bit more productive for a lot of newer YouTubers. And essentially a lot of this information is already out there, right? So it's not like a lot of the information I'm presenting is entirely like brand new. And I don't claim it to be brand new, because a lot of the stuff that I watch from other content creators I implement for myself, and I'm like, all right, well, this worked for me, right? Type of deal. So one of the things I'm going to do is just take a lot of the information that I personally learned, put it into a free document that anybody could have, and follow a blueprint. Like, a lot of people ask me for, like, say, a channel analysis, and like, I love to write. Obviously I'm good at yapping. I also love to write, and I could come up with, like, you know, quick channel analysis, but I'll work on refining that for the near future. But this is what's going on right now with the grand rebrand, and let me know your guys' thoughts, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another video. So stay tuned, everybody.